All right, we should be live and recording. So, hope you guys are having a great week, great day so far. So, today we are going to dive into weighted vests because I've gotten so many questions from clients over the past week or two about weighted vests. I'm seeing so much on social media about weighted vests as far as if they're effective. Are they worth getting for fat loss, for building muscle, for bone mineral density, all of these things? And they are getting a lot of hype on the internet right now, which is, I don't know like where this necessarily stemmed from. I don't know if there was some big influencer who started wearing them. So if you have any insight on that, definitely let me know because I'm definitely curious. But I've been seeing a lot regarding this, and like I said, I've gotten like 5 clients within the past like week or two asking me about this. So I figured it would be a perfect topic to talk about and kind of go over what are some of the ideas about weighted vests and what are some maybe misconceptions. Are they worth it? Are they not worth it? And so on. So weighted vest. If you are unfamiliar with this trend or this idea, it's basically there's a lot of people, I guess, out on the internet, a lot of fitness influencers, maybe, or maybe even just a few that are really popular that have been wearing basically these weighted vests that are maybe ranging from anywhere from 20 pounds to 30 pounds, maybe even 50-pound vests, maybe even as low as like 10 or 15-pound vests that basically you wear as a vest, and you either do exercise with it, you walk with it, you wear it throughout your day to essentially do, one of maybe a few things. Either build more muscle from them. We're going to talk about if that's even effective for that or not. Increase bone mineral density. We're going to talk about that too. And then also, does it increase the amount of calories you burn per day? Which is probably one of the big ones where a lot of people are trying to wear these because they think they're going to squeak out more calories burned and see better fat loss. So when it comes to weighted vests, does it increase muscle mass? And where did this idea even come from? So I think this idea came from a study or a series of studies that showed wearing a weighted vest while doing like lunges, jumps, squats, bodyweight squats, helped to improve muscle mass in some women. But the issue was with this study or these series of studies is this was comparing women doing exercise, lunges, squats, things like that, while wearing a weighted vest compared to a group of women doing no exercise at all. And they saw that the group wearing the weighted vest and the exercise saw an increase in muscle mass, which if you compare somebody who's not doing exercise or not doing these lunges, not doing these squats, and then compare that to somebody who is doing them even without the weighted vest, the group that's doing the exercise, doing that resistance training is going to see muscle mass gain from that. So that's kind of a no-brainer that those changes, those differences were likely from just simply doing the exercise and not actually from the weighted vest. And what we know about how muscle mass is gained or hypertrophy, how that occurs from the muscle being stimulated, getting close to mechanical failure, that is really irrelevant as to whether or not you're wearing a weighted vest or not. Now, obviously, if you do bodyweight squats and you don't wear a vest, and let's say you do sets of 10 and it's pretty easy, you're pretty far from failure by the time you finish that 10th rep, and then you put a weighted vest on and you do a set of 10 and maybe you are a couple of reps away from failure, you'll probably see better muscle mass growth from that. But that's not because there's something special about a weighted vest. It's just now you're adding resistance, and you could do that the same way by like doing a barbell squat or doing a dumbbell squat while holding dumbbells in your hand. So if doing a barbell squat or a dumbbell squat is too inconvenient for you, then maybe, wearing a weighted vest can be beneficial. But also at the same time, like there's only so much weight you can put on a weighted vest to where you can't actually wear it anymore. So if your legs get stronger to the point where you're able to do like 50-pound squats or 100-pound squats, you're probably not going to be putting on a 100-pound weighted vest to mimic that. It's going to be really uncomfortable. So that whole like premise is based off of, yes, wearing a weighted vest and doing body weight stuff is better than doing nothing at all. But doing more traditional lifting weights, resistance training is going to give you a better bang for your buck. Next point with the whole weighted vest craze, bone density. So I believe it was the same study, or maybe it was a different study, but it was set up in a similar way, where they compared bone mineral density in women to women who wore a weighted vest and women that didn't. But the thing is that the weighted vest was worn in a group that was exercising, doing the lunges, the squats, and all that, and the other group wasn't. So we know that lifting weights, resistance training dramatically helps bone mineral density compared to not exercising at all, because you're putting more resistance on that bone, more stress on that bone, and that stimulates your body to increase the density of it, so that bone is built back, stronger. So a lot of that benefit from that potential research was from just doing the exercise in general, not from the weighted vest. And it makes sense, because like you would see, people who are maybe overweight, right? Like let's say, you compared people, or you wanted to see, okay, is the weighted vest actually doing something for bone mineral density? We would see some of the greatest measurements of bone mineral density in people who are overweight or obese, because they're carrying around essentially like a weighted vest in and of itself, just the extra weight they're carrying. But we don't see that. We see the greatest bone mineral density levels in people who not are necessarily overweight or obese, but in people who are lifting weights and resistance training. So that is going to give you a much better bang for your buck. Can a weighted vest, wearing that, increase bone mineral density more compared to if you didn't lift weights or resistance training and didn't exercise at all? I mean, maybe, but you have to be doing some kind of movement with that weighted vest. You couldn't just like wear it and sit down and expect an increase in bone mineral density. But it's going to be so minuscule where like the biggest bang for your buck is going to be lifting weights or, exercise, but especially lifting weights for that aspect. Now, calories burned. This is the big one. And this is where I think a lot of people are finding their quote unquote inspiration to maybe wear weighted vest stuff. Okay, like I'm wearing this weighted vest. Is it going to help me burn more calories throughout the day? And the answer is not really, especially the way most people are wearing it anyway. So most people are going to wear this weighted vest on a walk. They're going to go for a 30-minute, 40-minute walk, put on their weighted vest, and be like, okay, now I'm going to go on this walk and I'm going to burn so many extra calories because now I have this weighted vest on and I'm making the walk more difficult. When you're not walking, let's say you're a 150-pound person, in a 30-minute walk, you're probably burning around 120-ish calories during that walk. If you wear like a 20-ish pound weighted vest, you're probably burning maybe an extra 25 calories on that walk, which is so like minuscule, especially when we know how the body works and adapts to physical exercise and its energy expenditure for the whole day. So if you do 30 minutes of exercise, and let's say you burn an extra 150 calories in that 30 minutes, that does not mean your body is going to burn an extra 150 calories for the entire day, because there are ways the metabolism of the body will try to compensate for that extra energy you burn. So if you do an intense exercise and burn 150 calories in 30 minutes, your body's going to try to slow down other processes in the body, or maybe even just slow down subconscious activity like talking with your hands, blinking, all that stuff. It's going to slow down some of that stuff. So you burn a little bit less later on in the day. So that 25 extra calories that you are burning from putting on a weighted vest versus walking without it, your body's probably compensating for that some point the rest of your day, if you're not tightly measuring every single aspect of like your energy expenditure. But like I said, some of this is subconscious, like talking with your hands, blinking, that you really don't have much control over. So to like burn 25 extra calories in a 30-minute walk, is it a bad thing to do? No. Is it a bad thing to try to do? Not really. But like, what is the cost of this? Practically, even financially, even the cost it might have on like the recovery of your body by doing this. And are you even really getting any benefit overall at the end of the day when you're with your calories burned from this, from wearing, your weighted vest with a short walk? Because maybe the weighted vest, obviously, you have to pay for it. So financially, you're giving something up for it. Also with the weighted vest, some people might report their lower back maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable because, the weight distribution is a little bit awkward. If that weighted vest, wearing it, makes that walk really exhausting for you and really fatiguing, you might be more likely to lay on the couch, sit around, and just watch TV for the rest of the night, versus maybe if you didn't wear the weighted vest and just went for a regular walk, maybe you subconsciously would have a little bit more energy to do some laundry, empty the dishwasher, play with your kids more later on in the evening. And you might actually burn more calories overall for your day not wearing that weighted vest for that workout versus wearing it because of those, mechanisms and that compensation that happens sometimes. So, if wearing a weighted vest gets you inspired and gets you motivated to go out and go for a walk, because you're like, okay, I'm putting on my weighted vest. Maybe there's something psychological with it that kind of gets you a little bit amped up. Like, okay, now, I'm in my walk mode. I'm going to really, tackle this walk and really get it done. And if wearing the weighted vest gets you to walk more than what you would walk without it, if you didn't have it, then by all means, wear a weighted vest when you walk, get one. It's getting you to walk, right? Same thing goes with, people who take pre-workout. A lot of the studies show pre-workout really doesn't do too much, most of the formulations actually, but there is some kind of psychological benefit to some people for taking pre-workout, and they're like, okay, my pre-workout's in, now I'm in the zone, now I'm ready, mentally checked in to get my workout in. So if that does it for you with the weighted vest with walking, go ahead, feel free, invest in one if you want and get one. But the actual benefit you're getting as far as calories burned, like you would have to wear it for the entire day for it to make any kind of measurable impact. And it might still not even be worth it, because we can control our fat loss much more by manipulating our calories versus paying attention to these super minute details of, okay, am I walking on this level of incline necessarily, or just walking on flat ground, or am I, wearing a weighted vest for all of my walks versus not. So overall, a weighted vest has been extremely overhyped. I think there's two rare scenarios where I think wearing a weighted vest could be warranted, which would be, number one, if you're somebody who like backpacks and goes hiking with heavy backpacks and you want to train for that, then I think wearing a weighted vest to train for that isn't a bad idea, because you're trying to prepare yourself for this hike. But also at the same time, why not just wear your heavy backpack and put things in it to make it heavy versus buying a weighted vest? But that's one scenario maybe. Another scenario is if you plan to do some kind of like high rocks or some kind of Tough Mudder or some kind of like fitness competition or event that does require you to wear a weighted vest while doing some of the stuff. Practicing that, training like that is probably a good idea, to prepare yourself for that too. Maybe a third scenario that I just kind of thought of off the top of my head with a weighted vest would be if you are trying to do bodyweight squats and really need resistance, but for some reason you are unable to hold on to weight or use a barbell, and you are a beginner to where wearing a weighted vest would give you enough resistance to still get close to failure, then maybe a weighted vest is a good alternative to weights or a barbell in that case. But that's a very rare circumstance, because most people are going to be better off using dumbbells or a barbell, because they're going to be able to just progressively overload and add more weight easier that way. But that could be a very, very, very rare third circumstance. But other than that, they're not really worth it. And so, if you want to get a weighted vest because you think it looks cool or feels cool, and I get it. Like I see people posting their like Instagram selfies or their boomerangs wearing their weighted vests, and it's like, oh man, this person takes things seriously. They're wearing a weighted vest, but in the end, you're not really getting too much out of it. Are you challenging yourself more? Yeah, you're making things harder, but harder doesn't necessarily mean better results in all cases. So hopefully it's kind of cleared up, that misconception regarding weighted vests and if it's worth it or not. So if you have any questions, definitely leave them below in the comments. Also, as always, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, working with us, I'll post the link to the coaching application down below in the description in the comments here. Then also, if you're maybe not quite ready for one-on-one coaching yet, you can join our group membership, which is $9 a month currently on sale. You can upgrade for an additional $20 a month to subscribe to our workout programs in our app as well. But with the $9 a month membership, you get monthly challenges where we give away $350 worth of prizes every single month. You also get a ton of food and recipe ideas. You get a whole classroom section showing you how to calculate your maintenance calorie level, your fat loss calorie level, how to go through the same phases that we take all of our clients through. There's also a bunch of resources in the classroom section in terms of fast food ideas that are healthy, low calorie, high protein, other meal plan templates that you can follow yourself if you want to. So definitely take a look at that. There is a 7-day free trial too with our paid group membership. So, if you don't like it after 7 days, you can cancel and not get charged. And then there's also a place inside of the group membership to ask questions and post questions. And then I'll be popping in there and answering those questions for you to help you out as much as I can. So hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.